Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Live, 8 o'clock, it's 8 p.m. And I'm on Facebook and YouTube. Thinking I'll do one. Yeah, I've tried with that platform. It's not for me. Wasn't very good for this, unfortunately. So back on just doing Facebook and YouTube. So if you can see me, if you can hear me, say hello, drop me a like. If you want to stay up to date with mental health tips and hypnosis talk, or just hear me ranting and waffling, subscribe to my YouTube channel. So, here we go. Right, what was we on about today? Give it a few minutes, let people come in, let people show up. And I've also come to the conclusion that my viewer counter isn't entirely accurate. Yeah. Been a good week this week. A bit quiet, being April. Tends to be quiet round about now. I think because people too busy shopping and stuck in the face with chocolate to get help. But I'll get you next month. It's one of them things. Anyway, what was on about tonight? Yes, so tonight we're going to be talking about why my tough love method works, why it gets the results it gets, why it's different to everything else that's out there, and yeah, if you buy Ep8 in Staffordshire, the High Street, a shop there called Chocolate Treasures, my girlfriend and her family shop, and yeah, get down there. Good advertisement for me, that. There we go again. Look, pattern interrupt every week. So yeah, I have my way of doing things. Right, I have my way of doing my therapy. I have my way of discussing mental health, and the main thing is I am not afraid. There is this thing out there, I think, thanks to the media, thanks to people gatherings of opinions, that we all have to tread on eggshells and fanny about when it comes to mental health. Well, I'm here to tell you that we don't. And doing that is what's causing the issue that we're facing today. Depression, anxiety, PTSD, and all those things are perfectly normal. Perfectly fine to experience, to feel, to go through. It's natural. What's not okay is that we live our lives year after year after year stuck in that situation. It's unnecessary. And the only person's, well, I say the only person's time you're wasting is your own. You're not, you're wasting everybody else's as well that's around you. And the reason why I'm so blunt, the reason why I'm so blah, 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 blah about it, is because I could tell you now for a fact that upset will motivate you to do more for your life than motivation will. There are many people who make millions and millions of pounds, millions and millions of dollars a year that can fill out theatres and stadiums, and they get tens of thousands of people in there for a couple of £100, couple of $100 a ticket, and people go and people buy their books and all of this. And these people tell you how good your future is going to be and they generate these images and these pictures in your mind of you doing all these fantastic things and achieving all these fantastic things and having all these fantastic things, and they make it sound like they're giving you a route to them. Then people leave the stadium and they go back to their reality. You know, they've all been jumping up and down and waving their hands, and the music's been playing, and everybody's in top peak physical and mental state that you can be, because this area has been manufactured to achieve that. That's how these people make their money. And you leave and you're all, yeah, I'm going to do that. Oh, I'm going to be a millionaire by next week. I'm going to this, blah, 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 blah. And then you do. Fuck all. 2 months later, you know, pissed off that you've done fuck all. But it's everybody else's fault. You've wasted your money going to this motivation thing. But you'll still watch their YouTube videos, listen to their audio books, buy their books, whatever else. And then you'll get psyched up again by the next bit of information that sticks in your head that generates these wonderful images of you with all these fantastic things that you haven't got. Now, I'm different because I make you realise what needs to change. Now, by doing that, I have to upset you. In the comments, let me know what upset means to you. Because when I say upset, it's not like when we was a kid and we'd go, you know, somebody in the playground would push us over, so we'd go off crying and tell the teacher and blah, blah, blah. Upset as an adult should mean that you're, you know, just there, and all of a sudden it just tips you over into, yeah, shit, I need to get help. Oh, yeah, I need to make some changes. Or, yeah, I need to get on top of this, right? Let's imagine, right, just for a moment, just imagine that you're standing in a garden, right? And this garden's all overgrown, it's full of weeds, grass is up to your shoulders, whatever, right? Proper shithole, right? Bit like my garden when I lived in my house. I'm not a gardener. And you're standing in the middle of it, surrounded by these weeds and shit and other crap that you don't want. Now I can get you to close your eyes and imagine the garden as the best garden you've ever been in. Award-winning, absolutely fantastic. And you'll feel all these wonderful emotions. You will feel these great things. But when you open your eyes, that crap's still there. And until something happens that tips you to the point where you get on your hands and knees and pull those weeds out, where you get a device to mow that grass and you make that garden how you want it to be, it's still going to be an overgrown shithole. So my job is to get you to physically make changes and do things. I don't force you to do them. Everything's a choice. Choice to get off your arse and make changes. Choice to sit on your arse, do nothing. But we remove the things that are there that you can't change yourself to allow you to be able to do it. I post things and word things in a way to get a reaction. Usually the fight and flight response kicks in. But my voice goes in your head, and my voice is there then. You go away and you can have these images about the here and now. And yes, I want you to think of what life can be like for you, what life was like before the burnout, before the depression, the anxiety, the PTSD, whatever it is. But you're not there yet. Now, if we have these images all the time of us having these results, these achievements, our brain thinks we've got it. Therefore, why should it come up with a solution? Why should it come up with a way forward? It doesn't have to. Because as far as your brain is concerned, that can't tell the difference between thought and reality. You've got these things. So it stops. And then a bit later, when it's all caught up with itself and you haven't got these things, it then wants to know what's happened and that shit cycle goes on again. So when I do a post, when I do a video, it's to get a response from you. That response might be anger. And when you finish calling me all the bastards under the sun and telling me I'm wrong and so on and so on and so forth, that little voice goes away and it applies things to you and your life. Then it starts going, no, yeah, but we haven't got as much money, have we? We could do with some more money. So I want to go on holiday. Job's pissing me off. Can't stand my job anymore. Oh, Monday's coming. Can't stand my job. Don't want to go to my job. Yeah, that's an issue, innit? And that's what I want you to do. I want you to have those conversations in your head, because now you're coming up with the actual issues. But it doesn't matter that you're depressed. It doesn't matter that you've got anxiety. They're symptoms. What matters is the issue, the stressors, what's causing this, what's causing these symptoms. And if you've gone many, many years with your stress levels sky high, it could be a lot of shit that's, well and truly buried in that bucket. All right. Hi, Lise. How you doing? Thinking everything is going to be all hunky-dory and everything's going to get better and all this, yes, that might make you feel great. Might motivate you. Might make you have a nice, positive way of thinking. But it will get you nothing. The only thing that will get you the results that you require is change, mentally and physically. I did a post on Facebook a couple of months ago, and I could have worded it to reduce the feelings of depression, reduce stress in your life. I could have worded it to recover from burnout, make changes, right? But we've all heard that one, haven't we? And yeah, but what changes? So I put the post as, the reason why you've got depression, anxiety is your life shit. And the responses were exactly what I was expecting. I had people telling me I was wrong. I had people telling me who were fighting me, and then apparently people ran off and reported me. I got took down out of some groups, not by the admins, but by Facebook itself, because people reported it, because it went against their belief system. And again, that's why I do what I do. I challenge your belief system, because if you believe something's right, whether this belief's harming you or not, it needs to change. Your belief system needs to change to a better one, a positive one that will help you. So someone that says, I can't do that because I'm an anxious person, that's their belief system. And if they believe that, that's what they're going to be. And therefore, it's it is their reality, right? But we can reframe that, because you're not an anxious person. You have anxiety. Everybody has anxiety. We need anxiety. Once we have that control, when we have knowledge and we have power, when we have power, we have control. And then things don't seem to be so scary anymore. And things don't seem to affect us in the same way. When I work with my clients, I am as blunt as possible. In fact, one of my clients called me the Gordon Ramsay of mental health, which I quite like, because this lovely lady in particular really wanted help, struggled. She really struggled to let herself get into it, and she needed a shock. She'd been to loads of other therapy before, but her brain needed a shock, basically. And I give her that shock. Ended up walking out of the house. I ended up going home. A few days later, she rang me up. I know you're right. Nobody's ever spoke to me that way before. Nobody's ever got through to me like that before, but I needed that. Can we pick up again and carry on? Yes, we can. Completely different person when I went back to do the next session, and boom, we made progress after progress after progress. But the years of I can't was just stuck in the way. We smashed through that wall. We smashed through that barrier to get the results. Fannying around, pussyfooting around it won't do anything. We would have missed. In fact, most therapists would have said, "Oh, you're an awkward client, can't help you, off you go." No, I like to do everything and everything I possibly can to help somebody. But when I do this thing to upset somebody, to challenge their belief system, and some of my clients not sure how you tag on here, Elise. Try the @ thing and then put the name in, might pop up that way. Try that. You know what I'm like with tech. Where was I? Yeah, what was I ranting about? I don't know. Something to do with my clients, right? Yeah, so once that belief system's been challenged, and for some people it could take a couple of weeks for that to settle. That's fine. It needs that process. If somebody hadn't upset me, yeah, not sure how you tag somebody on the comments on this then. So can't help you, unfortunately. Yeah, well, bloody hell, gone again. Every week or something. What's this now? Right, okay, I don't know what that is. If anybody knows how to tag somebody who's not on my Facebook, who's on somebody else's Facebook, so they can watch this, please put in the comments so we know. Yeah, what was I about? Let's pick up at belief systems. All these belief systems, and again, it works down all the way down to this, right? We're all taught, usually by our parents, that we have to work hard, we have to get a good education, blah, 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 blah. No. How about that one then? How about we work smarter, not harder? We all know somebody that's worked themselves into an early grave, don't we? Because that's what stress can do for you. What it nearly did to me. Bad teachings. And it comes from the generation, and stuff like that. I saw a thing the other day about what's happened to the stiff upper lip. The good old British stiff upper lip. Don't know. However, was that always a positive thing? Was it a positive thing? I wasn't alive at the time. I don't know what it was like to live during World War II. I imagine it wasn't quite as everybody band together and do this and that and all that as it's made out to look in the media. Can't see it happening now, but I could be wrong. Would we all band together? Would we all help everybody? Would we help the country if we was to go into World War III? Would we live how we were told people lived back then? I don't know. All I know is that the talk about a possible World War III, I've already done consultation calls with people who've got anxiety towards it. Especially, and I've mentioned it in a previous live, somebody that got in touch with me because she was scared shitless that her sons were going to get called up when all that conscription thing was about. Where is it now? Gone. Just like that. No one's talking about it now. When people don't talk about it, it's not there. When it's not there, we don't see it, we don't pay attention to it, so therefore it's gone out of our lives. I don't watch the news, I don't read newspapers for that reason. I remember when the war in Ukraine broke out, and I was following the events of that live every morning. I realised a couple of weeks later I was feeling stuff that I didn't need to feel. And it was affecting my life here. Hi Sally, hope you're well. It was affecting my life here. And it shouldn't do. And the war's still going on. There's nothing I can do. I didn't pretend I could either. So I stopped watching the coverage. Because I was watching it from different channels. So you could get, and coverage from a Russian supporting channel is different to a Ukrainian supporting channel. But it's just as shit. And it might sound selfish that, it doesn't affect my life. But it was affecting my life. But I wasn't there. And I can't fight in that war. And I haven't got the money to send to make any difference. There's nothing I could do. So I accepted that. Absolute no point me being miserable about it. Same goes everything else in life. Had a client finish today on the program, and it's clicked in his head now that he has to put himself first before anybody else, so he can be that best version of himself for his family, for his work, for his life. Not only that, but when you're doing that, when you are that best version of you, you project that to other people and you attract different people. May I even say better people? Because people are absorbing it. And people are liking this version of you. When I was at my lowest, I would moan a lot. And I still do. Everyone knows I'm a mix between a Jim Royal and a Victor Meldrew. I'm playing around with the idea of starting another YouTube channel and just me ranting about the world. But I did it in a funny way and it made people happy, it made people laugh. But it was me masking how I really felt, and it was me escaping using comedy. A lot of people do it, especially men. And it's funny after, when I would watch One Foot in the Grave and Royal Family, and just how much those characters I took on board. Now, I always say to people with what I do, I can help with a lot, but I can't do personality transplants. We can do our own personality transplant, by who we learn from, who we absorb energy from, behaviors from, whatever you want to call it. Unfortunately, the biggest, people we learn from it are our parents, guardians, and they learned off their parents and guardians, and they come from a different lifestyle, different generation, and at some point that needs to break, so you can pass on something better to your kids. Otherwise, it just goes down the chain. Hi Lewis, how you doing? Congratulations on passing your driving test. I'm gonna sell my car now. I'm not going on the road. But if you're motivated to do something, that's great. But if you're not getting off your arse and following it through, you're not going to get a result. When we're upset about something, there's this thing that we don't want to be embarrassed. And if that motivates you to get help to make these changes, brilliant. Now you're on the right path. And honestly, if someone says to me, so if I do a post, hi James, how you doing? If I do a post and it pisses people off, now again, I don't do posts to piss people off. That's not what I'm saying. I don't do it with the intention to make people angry and to be controversial and stuff like that. I do it with the thing of to help. I want to help you. Whether you just take my advice, apply it to your life and have the benefits, ignore me and carry on doing what you're doing, that's your choice, right? Everything's a choice. Now, when I do a video, I do these lives, it's to get that voice in your head to have conversations with itself that it's not having. And these conversations are the one that's going to motivate you, to spur you on, to get you the results that you want and need, right? People telling you everything's going to be fine. People telling you, oh, it's just a bad moment when you've been having this bad moment for 30 bastard years, right? When's enough? When is enough? When do you say, I can't live like this anymore? Another 10 years? How many years have you got left? Who knows? 34 now. My dad died at 53. You know, not many of the men in my family live to an old age. Not that I want to get old. Old age scares me more than death does. But that's the thing. It's your time you're wasting. How much more time can you waste when you should be out there doing the things that you want to do? You should be out there being happy. And if you do something and you decide, oh, messed up there, don't like doing that, that's fine. You haven't got to do it again. But if you're not doing it because you're letting that voice of anxiety stop you before you even attempted it, there's a problem there. And that problem can be fixed. It can be sorted, it can be helped, it can be altered. But how I do things is that different to what people believe is the right way. And I do hit a lot of resistance. And that's fine. Resistance is fine. Resistance is an emotion. Resistance has a feeling there. I can work with that. Because when people are calling me all the bastards under the sun, when people are telling me I'm wrong, when people are also asking me questions. And they think they're arguing the point. What they're really doing is having a conversation. When we have this conversation and I give the answers, the brain generates the images that involves them, that sorts it out into something that means something to them. So, as I was saying, if I didn't get upset a couple of years ago when somebody told me I was running my business like a hobby, and again, I've been to other marketing people, because when I started this, I didn't know, I'd have to be doing this, that I'd have to be, most of my time would be done advertising, so on and so on. You get told when you're training by certain people that people will just come to you. Bollocks, do they? Right? Do they, knackers? You have to put the graft in, and you have to learn things, learn new skills, do things that you never thought you'd be doing, that I didn't think was part of this business. I've mentioned these before. Excuse me. Note to self, don't ever drink Pepsi Max when doing a live again. And I've gone to these other marketing people who, again, sell you this brilliant idea of a piss easy way of getting clients in, of doing this, of doing that. And they're really good at what they do. But of course, you've paid to see them, you've paid to go on their course, that's how they make their money, isn't it? And then you go away and you apply these things, but the results don't come in. So now you're stressed about that. Hang on, let me have a look. I think human brains complicate things, like you said, through habitual behaviour and generational teachings. People know they have. But that's annoying to listen to for the microphone. Me mumbling away. I should probably read this out, shouldn't I, for those people who aren't reading it? That'd be a good idea. I think human brains complicate things, like you said, through habitual behaviour and generational teachings. People now they have anxiety, but almost don't want to get rid of it because it's a big mess in their head when they try. Your methods are simple. Everyone should try it. They try meds to help. This is you. Teaches better. That's my opinion. And that is my opinion also. Right, don't get me started on medication. That's the thing. People come to me and they say they want to get rid of anxiety. No, you don't. You do not want to get rid of anxiety. If I could get rid of your anxiety, the first thing you do is step out into the road in a car and mow you down, end of. What a waste that'd be. Anxiety is a bloody brilliant thing. We need it. It's our superpower. That is what I teach people. To use it to their benefit. To use it as their superpower. To keep them sharp. To keep them alive. It is definitely through habitual behaviour and familiar teaching. Yeah, everything is a learned behaviour. I've mentioned before, I can't do anything now that involves kids' parties or things like that because I literally sit there listening to parents teaching future clients. And it winds me up. And I have to sit there and bite my tongue because I know me saying something won't make a blind bit of difference because I'll be wrong. Why will I be wrong? Because their belief system says what they're doing is right. Until something happens where a little voice goes, what if there is something different? What if there is a different way? What if? Why? Now we start getting to that mindset of asking questions, getting solutions. With you on that one. Meds are the worst cure, more like a plaster that keeps falling off. Yep. Doctors throwing antidepressants around like sweets is a pain in my arse. It annoys the shit out of me. Really does. Especially then when somebody who's gone to this doctor, because again, we're taught from a young age, if there's something wrong with you, go to a GP. GP should not be allowed, in my opinion, anywhere near mental health. GP should not be allowed anywhere near it. The only time they should do it is when they pass it on to somebody that actually knows what they're doing. And I'm sure there's GPs out there who are on the game of mental health, brilliant. Unfortunately, I've not met many people like you. If you are like that, please keep up the good work. If you actually want to help your patients, your clients, whatever, please keep up the good work. But unfortunately, the majority are shit. See, I help people with what I've lived through, what I've come through, what I've got to the other side of. So I know that you can too if you put the steps in that I will help you put in. Do I have 100% success rate? No. Different things come up different, and no therapy. If any therapy says I've got 100% success rate, they're either lying or they haven't seen many people. I've got a bloody high success rate. I never worked it out. I imagine it's well in its 90s. But because I learned from my mistakes, my failures that I'd done when I first passed and all of that, I now have something that the majority of people benefit from. And I will never say that I've got 100% success rate because it doesn't work like that. But anyway, yeah, so you go to the doctor because you're feeling shit. You don't understand why you're feeling shit. And what do? The doctor don't understand why you're feeling shit either. But there you go. We get told to give you these. Have these. What happens now is your brain that's being told from a child that if you're ill or something's wrong with you, you go to the doctor. The doctor gives you these little things and then you put them in your mouth and everything gets better. That's a belief system. So you do it. Some people feel a benefit, right? Because they've done this pattern, this routine, and the brain's gone, okay, I've took these things, I'm going to feel better. That's the change. That mindset change that you've just done there, I'm now going to feel better. That's the one that's going to get you through the shit. I can't really even begin to mention some of the names of the tablets, but I end up doing research on them. They're a nightmare. Utter nightmare. And there's a short-term thing, which is what they're supposed to be, a short-term cure, help, a plaster. Fine. Not the GP should be giving to you, but for a bit of help until you can get some proper help, fine. You should not then be left on them for 5, 10, 20, 30 years without any questions being asked or any, And people think these things are going to make them better, so they keep going and they keep going and they keep going and they keep going and nothing gets better. And they've wasted 5, 10 years of their life feeling like shit when they didn't have to. I've had to forgive my parents and grandparents for the things they taught me. I've done lots of work on myself to become a much more confident person that I am today. Brilliant. And again, that is a thing. I don't know what was taught to you. I'm just going to make a generalization here from this, but parents don't feel confident, so they pass that on down to the child. One of the things that pisses me off, as I've mentioned before, is when parents say to the kids, "Oh, when I say I want to be a footballer or an astronaut, so on and so on," and they say, "Oh, no, you need to get a proper job." I come from a family of builders. It was always get a trade, you need a trade, so on and so on. So I learned to do brickwork. I learned to do plastering. Where's that got me in life? Nowhere. And you would not want me to build you a wall. You would not want me to plaster anything in your house. Right? Simple as that. I've got photo evidence of why you wouldn't want me to plaster anything in your house. So, as you know, I can't look at the techie bits and talk at the same time. That's what I'm doing there. Yeah, that's. And the parents aren't aware. I'm not perfect, but I try. We are in a lot of generational teachings. It takes time and the want to work on yourself. That's exactly it. First of all, we need to want to change. If there isn't the want there, the brain isn't going to bother. Second of all, there's no such word as try. You either do something or you don't do it. So if you are doing it, then you're doing it. It might be a long process, it might be a short process, but if you're doing it and you're making progress, then you're doing it. There's no trying. You can't try to do something. Try means failure to the brain. And usually the parents aren't aware because they were taught. A lot of people aren't aware. It's only when people who know inform them, and that little voice then decides to take over, and they agree in their head because they've changed it to something that applies for them. And not just from parents, but from everyone, teachers, friends, co-workers. I can't just limit it to parental teachings. That's true as well. We, especially as children, we are walking, talking hypnosis subjects. We are sponges. We take suggestions left, right, and centre. We look at everything. For instance, phobias. It's either usually caused by a fear response to something, a traumatic response to something, or it's been taught to us. For instance, as a kid, you're playing on the carpet, spider comes along, you as a kid go, looks at it, parent comes in screaming, giving it all this, picks kid up, puts it out the way, so on and so on. Kids now learn that's how I have to react when I see a spider. So every time a spider comes, there's now a fear response, and that kicks in time and time and time and time again. Fast forward 20 years, you've now got a fully grown adult who understands the difference between a spider and a venomous spider and, and that sort of thing, but the fear response is there. Now, that thing is what the kid hasn't got that yet. The kid's just got the fear response. I don't work with children. Perhaps that can be changed at a young age. I don't know. I work with 16 and older. The reason for that being, as I've mentioned again before, is and I had worked with kids with anxiety, that sort of thing. They made great changes, but the parents didn't change with them. So I'd be teaching them this new thing, and the parents are still teaching them the old crap. If I was to work with young kids again, I'd work with the parents as well, so everybody's on the same page. But yeah, I mean, I can think back, like, I do things and I know exactly who taught them me when I had my first job working in a factory. Excuse me. To people I worked with in the van, that sort of thing. These role models, and as I've noticed as well, there weren't so much when I was a kid. People with technology, how technology is today, kids can pick up and learn from people that they don't even know. You know, I sit there watching videos on YouTube of people in America and whatever. And how many people there? We've got kids now that are using loads of American phrases and talking some weird bloody language that I'll damned if I know what they're on about. Now I know when I was a kid, I remember I was what, 11, 12, and Ali G, the movie came out, and we all watched that, and it was all going around repeating the words and doing things. And I bet it was very annoying for our parents, and I suppose it's just a generational thing, isn't it? It goes on and on and on. But with people now who get these platforms, like, there was no YouTube or so when I was really young. So I couldn't see people on these platforms, and I couldn't follow these people, good or bad. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? I don't know. Let me have a look here. Has anyone else on here? Do you find you have to change your circle of people in your life when deciding to grow yourself? That's something I'm finding hard, but the more aware and the more I work on myself, the less I want to be around negative stuck minds. Any techniques for that one, Chris? Yeah, nice simple one. Remove yourself from their life. Surround yourself with the people that push you to be the best version of yourself. Get rid of the dead weight. Most of what I do with clients is just that. Family, friends, whatever it may be. We can't please everyone, and we shouldn't have to. We can't. And sometimes, you know, there's people in our lives that we think, they just drag me down and stuff like that. Get rid of them. And if you don't want to get rid of them, remove yourself from their life. They'll either just fade away and disappear, or it's up to them to change as well. I did a video a while back about getting rid of crabs in your life. That's exactly what they are. The whole idea of that video was the story of the crabs in a bucket, and it's, you know, you're trying to get out of this bucket and two crabs grab you and bring you back down. You ain't going to get freedom that way. I'd feel awful doing that, just dropping them totally because they're on. So the thing with this is, there's no way you can think of a scenario in your mind where it isn't a event or it isn't a thing. Honestly, just back away. I don't speak to many people who used to be in my life because they don't serve me a positive purpose. If I saw him in the street, I'd say hello to him. If they asked for my help, I'd help them. But I don't They're not in my life as in like how they used to be. And I'm clearer for that and better for that. And again, that's another thing I help my clients do. Client that finished with on the program last month. Lovely woman, wanted to help everybody, was helping everybody. She knew that she was basically the doormat for the family, and she was in the middle, and all the family members were resting up against her. She removed herself, and they all collapsed. No, they can't zap her energy. They can't have their life made easier by using her. They have to do things themselves. Their choice is now theirs. Do they lift themselves up and become better people and do things, or is it woe is me, the world's against me, this? And that then comes down to the growth mindset or the victim mindset. Again, another thing that people seem to funny about with. One of them will stop you from progressing, and another one will help you to grow and to be the best version of you and to do all that. That's taking responsibility for yourself, your actions, your emotions, your past, your present, your future. Everything is under your control. And even when things sometimes feel are not under your control, it is. And you can do things. And sometimes you have to do some uncomfortable things and some things that upset people. But at the end of the day, self-care focused therapy is about putting yourself first so you can be a better version, the best version of yourself for you, for your family, for your business, so on and so on. Which is I've got a video coming out soon about the about burnout. That's out next week. And I said on there that when we are burnt out and we've got the symptoms of depression, anxiety, so on and so on, it's the child in us that's in control then. So now ask yourself this question. Would you let a child run your business? Would you let a child run your family? If the answer is no, then we need to get the adult you back in control. The child you is what's the learned behaviors, the patterns and the responses that have been taught to you that you've done over and over again. And when big mouth me comes along and says something that upsets people, the child gets upset. And a child is like a child. That part of your brain is like a 5-year-old. So it will want to run to mommy or daddy. But you're an adult now. And mommy and daddy aren't going to help you. Mommy and daddy doesn't live in here. Sometimes it does. And usually when that happens, it's not a positive thing. That's a different subject. That's something like on another live. But we need to get that child back in the playpen and the adult you taking control, making the decisions. As I say, you wouldn't let a child run your business, run your family. You wouldn't let a child run your life. That's what we do. When we burn out, we let that child us take over. Feel like you don't have any friends. I always thought I had loads of friends. I actually don't have loads, but I have a small circle of good quality friends who support and accept me as I am. That's exactly right. If you remove yourself from the deadwood in your life, you will soon find out who your real friends are. The ones that stay there, the ones that... And you might have a small circle, 3, 4, 5, 6 friends maybe, but if them are there pushing you to be the best version of yourself, if those people around you are the ones that are, when you're feeling like you're burnt out and they're helping you back up and they're supporting you, they're the people you want around you. Because when they're doing the same, when they're feeling down, when they're feeling burnt out, you can help them. You can do the same for them. We're supposed to be living as communities, as tribes. We are animals. That is how we survived, helping each other in a tribe. We all had our skills, our abilities, our good bits, and we also had bits that we lacked that we didn't, and we could help each other, so we become one system. Maybe that's a skill that's lost in the modern era. Certainly seems that way, in my opinion. So I'm about to wrap this live up. If you've got any more questions, feel free to drop them in. We've got the last couple of minutes. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, if you'd like to do so, that'd be great. If you like this video, give it a like. And yeah, do the things that make you happy. Make the changes in your life that need to be made. Have those conversations that need to be had with yourself, with your family, with your friends. Get what's best for you, for those around you, as one thing. I'm off for my dinner now. It's enough waffling for me for one night. Well, just remember, when you see my videos, you see my posts, I want to help you. I'm not doing it to piss you off. I'm not doing it for shock factor. I'm not doing it for anything like that. I'm doing it because it'll generate a reaction in your mind. There we go. Hang on. Any quick mindful techniques to come back to the moment, Chris, when you're feeling overwhelmed? Yeah, loads. Can I think of one now? No. The good one to do is tapping. You can just sit there and tap your fingers and just go, even though I'm anxious, I choose to feel calm, or just choose to feel calm, I choose to feel calm, I choose to feel calm, I choose to feel calm. And it hasn't got to be that obvious if you're, in a supermarket or something, but it's about training your brain to do that. So again, you'll just end up doing that, and your brain will automatically start calming you down because it'll generate images of you being calm, therefore you'll feel calm. I find myself sitting in a field far away from people and just be. I think the sheep are getting fed up with me. That's works. It works. When I do my sessions, I get people to go to their happy place. That's where they can make the changes in their mind, and that's where my life was saved. And it's a powerful thing. And the brain's a powerful tool, and it can be used for amazing things. It can also be used for a lot of shitty things, which unfortunately we're easier programmed to do. My mission is to change that. And if I help just one person do that, great. If this live just does that tonight for one person, great. So that's me. See you next week. Thank you everyone who took part, and I shall think about what to waffle on. If you want me to cover a topic, let me know. Drop me a message or contact me in some way. And yeah, let's. If I can talk about that, we'll do that. So I shall see you next week, 8 o'clock. Take care. Bye bye now.